Hello class, it's Miss Aarons here with 10.2 lecture. Today we're going to be talking about Darwin and his theory of evolution. So after today's lecture, you should be able to describe the patterns of Darwin's observations among organisms of the Galapagos Islands. So evolution, what is evolution? I have a video here for you. Sorry, just want to make sure you were still awake and not falling asleep during my video. So, but to be honest, what is evolution, okay? Okay, so let's go back. Theory of evolution. So this is the Grand Canyon. Think of yourself of going on an adventure to the Grand Canyon. As you walk down the Grand Canyon, okay, you're going through each layer of rock, which is a time in history. So that's kind of what Darwin came up with, is he looked through fossils and how plants were fossilized and all of that stuff to come up with his theory of evolution. What is biological diversity? Biological diversity is a variety of living things. Remember, diversity just means a variety or numerous. So, and we know what bio means. That's going to be the study of life. So biological things, it's going to be the variety of biological living things. Millions of organisms exist in every shape, size, and habitat. Where do these organisms come from, and how are they related? So evolution. Evolution is the change over time, and it's the process by which modern organisms have descended from ancient organisms. And we know what a theory is. Theory is a well-testable explanation. Can it be proven? No, it can't be proven, but it is testable. So the scientific explanation of biological diversity, okay, and that was the evolutionary theory, which was a collection of scientific facts, observation, and hypothesis that things came from things from the past. They've evolved over time. And that started off with this man, Charles Darwin. And he traveled over on the Beagle, which was his ship. He was born on February 12th, 1809. And in 1831, he voyaged around the world on the Beagle. Darwin made observations and collected information. So this is where he went. He just traveled all over. And it led him to propose a hypothesis about the way life changes over time. He made many observations and that there were an enormous number of species inhabited the earth. So we have tons of different species that inhabit the earth. Some questions that he thought to himself was there some process that led to the survival of reproduction within the environment? What determined where these species lived? He also found some fossils that resembled organisms that were still alive, which he was astonished by. And you have to remember, this is the 1830s, so he is like part of the founder for the science and what it is today. While others overlooked completely unlike any organisms he had ever seen. So he went to the Galapagos Islands, which are 1,000 kilometers west of South America. So here's South America. So never eat soggy waffles. They're west of South America, and they're by the equator. The islands were close together, but have different climates due to the elevation. So you can see the climates. There's so many volcanoes. So like on top of those volcanoes, obviously it's going to be colder. And he looked at the different turtles on these islands. So on Isabella Island, there was abundant vegetation close to the ground. So he noticed that the turtles' heads were shorter. Their necks were shorter. And then the Pinta Islands, there was intermediate vegetation. So there was some vegetation that was high and some vegetation that was low. And their necks was a little bit longer. And then the Hood Islands, he had turtles that had very, very long necks because the vegetation was high. So all of these are the same species, but they all have a different variety of neck lengths. He also looked at the finches that were on these islands, and he looked at the beaks of the finches and how they differed from each island and from what they ate. So there's noted adaptation with the different shaped beaks. So you can see like this finch is obviously going to be an insect eater. This one is going to be an insect and twig. This one's going to be an insect and feeds on trees. And this one's going to be a cactus or a seed eater because of its crushing bill. On his journey home, he looked at his observations and the characteristics of the animals and plants that varied noticeably. And he wondered if the animals living on different islands had once been members of the same species. So we know now that they are the same species just because of how similar they are, but in the 1830s, this was like breaking material. But that's it for Darwin and what he did, and we're going to talk about him more in this chapter for his theory as well for evolution.